Hey designers, it's Mian, and in this chapter you will learn about the powerful tool called Figma. There is a large palette of various prototyping tools such as Adobe XD, Figma, Sketch, InVision, Axure, and so on. Like the topic of finding the best design process framework, designers lead a never-ending debate finding the best prototyping tool. Overall, I would like to say that there aren't really significant differences between those tools, mainly if we talk about the biggest three: Figma, Adobe XD, and Sketch. Anyway, as you maybe already know, I love using Figma and it's my #1 tool not only in this course. In my point of view, Figma is very progressive and the frequency of adding new features and functionalities is awesome. The very big advantage of Figma is its real-time collaboration, allowing you to work on the design at the same time with your coworkers or clients. You can also enter the prototype directly in the browser, so there is no need to download the desktop app. Another advantage of Figma is that it offers a free plan without limitation of the functionalities. Last but not least is a very large community of designers sharing useful plugins and files for other Figma users. So what is basically Figma? Figma is a collaborative prototyping tool which could be used directly in your browser or in the desktop app for multiple systems such as Windows or Mac. With Figma you are able to create fully interactive prototypes, complete design system or simple vector graphics. Figma also offers a mobile app enabling effective presentations of mobile prototypes directly on the mobile device. Design handoff to the development stage is also done with the Figma because developers are able to export CSS codes and all assets from the prototype directly. Assets I mean, for example, icons or images. In this chapter, I will show you some basic functionalities and the most important features of Figma that we will use for creating interfaces. Let's start with the very first step, which is creating a Figma account. So you just go to the figma.com. Here you can see the landing page, features, community, Figma blog, or for example pricing. So let's just quickly take a look at the plans. I have already mentioned that if you are at the starting point of your design career, I'm sure that the starter plan is completely enough for you. The only noticeable restriction is that the number of projects and also the number of the team members working on a prototype at one time is limited. But like I say, the starter plan is okay for purposes of our course and no Figma functionality is limited with this plan. So based on your needs, just choose a plan and create an account or login if you already have one. After login, you can see the interface where we will work and create all awesome stuff. Before we will start with the Figma features, you can choose if you want to use an in-browser app or if you want to use a desktop app. The downloading is again free. I personally already use a desktop app because in my point of view it's a little bit more fluent, especially if you work with large prototypes containing lots of screens. Overall it is quite similar to the in-browser version, but it gives you a little bit faster access to your project and also you are able to join your local phones. If you want to get the Figma desktop app, just go to the Figma website or type Figma desktop app to the Google search and easily download it here. Don't worry if you are not using Mac. In comparison with Sketch, Figma is also for Windows users. Let's go ahead to the interface. Basically what you can see at first is the canvas where we will do all that magic during the creating prototypes. In the upper part we can see some tools for creating frames, shapes, vectors, typography, a hand tool and a tool for adding components. Also there is a hamburger menu which works as a quick 3 to all actions. Then the project name in the center, share button on the right side which enables you to share a link on a project for viewing or editing. Last but not least, on the top right corner there is a situated presentation button and zoom. We will go through all those stuff also later and you will see how to use them practically. For now I just wanted to present the layout of Figma to be sure that we are well oriented in the system. Okay, on the left side, there is located a panel showing all layers in the project and assets like particular UI components or company libraries containing, for example, company design system, branding aspects like colors, logos, and so on. We have just started, so it's empty. What I want to show you is a pages section here. The section allows you to create separated canvases within the project. So let's say that our file is for a client called Tech Company. We will deliver in browser app and also mobile app. To make a Figma file well structured, we will create the first prototype in the first page and the mobile prototype in a separated one. Of course, this is just an example, so the structure of the file depends on the project needs. On the right side, there are 3 tabs. The first one is called Design, where we can see the inputs for styling design elements. For example, we add a rectangle and we can set here the coordinates of the rectangle on the X and Y axis. We can adjust the width and height of the element and rotation degree value as well. Then we can set a layer opacity in the section called layer, but we will not use it really frequently, to be honest. We can set the styling in the section below, that means color, stroke, or special effects like drop shadows or blur of the elements. Finally, we can export objects through this section. You can easily choose various formats like PNG, JPEG, CVG or PDF and you will get a file of the object. Now let's move on to the second tab called Prototype. Just very briefly, this tab serves as a mode for setting workflow and interaction in the stage of making the screens interactive and clickable. Again, it's our future work of this course to get familiar with it and create interactions and relations between design components or elements. The last step represents mode useful mainly for developers. It's called Inspect. Developers are able to export CSS code or iOS and Android codes for mobile apps. We will not work in this mode, but it's useful to know about its purpose to explain to developers how they can benefit from Figma. If you need help with a particular Figma functionality, there is a help button to get support and you can find there a list of shortcuts. Using a shortcuts during the whole UI design process will speed up a workflow a lot. It could be quite difficult to learn the big amount of shortcuts and it takes some time, but the final effect is huge. Shortcuts are arranged into particular groups, so I would definitely recommend to take a look on those and get familiar with some of them, mainly from the section Tools, Shape, Selection and Arrangement. The last thing for this chapter is the Figma button in the left corner. The button navigates you to the list of all your recent projects. You can create a new project here for various clients or your projects. If you have a starter plan, you will probably be able to create up to 3 projects, so there is the first limitation of a free plan. On the other hand, a professional plan costs only $15 per month, so it's not that much for an awesome tool like Figma. That was all for this chapter where we have introduced Figma. In the next chapter we will go a little bit deeper into Figma functionality. Thanks for watching this video, don't forget to complete the quiz and see you soon!